don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing.
You can't swing. As a young student at jazz school, those words cut me to my core. Every lesson I went to, every video I watched, every teacher I asked about swing, they told me something different. You know, it's like a triplet, it's long, short. Man, you just gotta feel it. Just listen to Miles and Bird and Pops and transcribe them and play the greats. And yeah, I did all that. And I couldn't get it. I felt like a failure. Like I was one of those ones that just, didn't got it, didn't have it. After all, some are just born with it, right? Actually, no. That I didn't understand how to swing was not indicative of any failure on my part. How swing is traditionally discussed and taught is still, as it was then and now, utterly lacking. I mean, no one ever showed me how to swing, let alone clearly explain it. The truth is that swing isn't some technique that you can just add to your playing. It's a whole ecosystem. And once you understand that, everything changes. So what are the standard explanations that we've been given about swing? Well, there's the triplet ratio. Divide each beat into 3, slice out the middle, and boom. That's swing. I mean, okay, sure, but when I do that, it doesn't exactly put me alongside Wes or Emily. It's more like Jolly and Roger. Okay, there's the long short. Yeah, okay, but how long and how short? And isn't that kind of just like a triplet again? Or is it like a tenuto and then a staccato? I don't even. Just feel it. Listen and transcribe, insert legendary player here. Yeah, look, I've done that a lot. And it's helped a bit, maybe? But actually, whenever I listen back to my playing, my solos still aren't really swinging like that. Okay, hold it. Look, the issue isn't that these explanations are necessarily wrong. There is some truth to them. The issue is that they're fundamentally incomplete. So I said earlier that swing isn't some technique that you can just add to your playing. It's a whole ecosystem. I'll begin my explanation by making a distinction. Just because something is technically swing doesn't mean it's swinging. So, here's a standard 2/5 lick played with eighth notes. Now with some accompaniment. Swinging, right? Right. And now with some different accompaniment. Same player, same notes and intention, but a totally different result. Okay, so some of you might be justifiably saying, well, duh, of course you'll come to that conclusion if you just arbitrarily make a complete genre 180 like that. Oh, but I'm not done. Let's do it again, but this time I'll play the lick completely straight rhythmically and flat, without any articulations. Okay, well, maybe there's something to this, but it doesn't matter. The lick you're playing is jazzy, so of course it's going to sound more like it's swinging. Well, alright, sure. This time, I won't play any lick, just repeated notes. Okay, but the tempo. Okay, sure. But the chords. Okay, so what do all these examples illustrate? I've been calling swing an ecosystem because truly, they really are the same. Swing is a musical example of emergence, a term commonly used in biology and sociology to describe a phenomenon that cannot be explained or defined by any one of its attributes in isolation. A beach is not just the sand, the water, and the tides, the flora, the fauna. No, it's all of it and more taken together. Swing, too, is a collection of elements defined by generations of cultural practices, traditions, historical contexts. Any one of these elements is simple enough to understand in isolation. But the feel that emerges from all of those elements interacting is much harder to isolate or replicate mechanically. Yo, editing here and here. So I just wanted to try and make something a little bit clearer, which is that the examples that I was playing was meant to show that there was no one of those factors that was like super contingent in creating the conditions required to swing. Like I changed the tempo and the articulation and the backing track. It doesn't really matter. You're more likely to still perceive it more like it's swinging than not. Because the whole point is it's not just any one or two things. It's a whole lot of things taken together. So I just wanted to make that really clear. That's what I was trying to do with my examples. Okay. And that's why music can indeed swing, but not really be swinging. Even as a receptive and motivated student at a prestigious jazz school. So, what is the swing ecosystem then? Jazz harmony has tension and resolution that inherently creates rhythmic forward momentum. Static harmony simply just kills swing. And before you comment, lol, okay, tell that to like the late 50s Miles, no. So What or the new Milestones are obviously not static harmonically. I mean, do you really want to say that Bill Evans, Red Garland, and Paul Chambers are static in those recordings? When I say static harmonically, I would probably invite us to think of something like the minimalist compositions of the 20th century, like Terry Riley's In C or Steve Reich's Music for 18 Musicians, for example, where the focus isn't on harmony per se, but rather rhythmic ostinati and melodic units that repeat. To be really clear, so yeah, harmony with tension and resolution contributes to swing feel. Next. Swing likes to live inside of structures with clear phrase lengths and turnarounds. You know, it needs somewhere to go. You can think of the song's form as the stage that the harmony is played out upon. It's a defined space that allows for a temporal, compositional strata to develop. Oh, sorry, I've been reading like way too many academic papers lately. Basically, if there's no defined ending, then the momentum that swing generates is just going to turn into white noise and get really boring. Or the soloist is just like, you know, not going to know what the hell is going on and stop or just pass out. Tempo. This one's fun. Swing is tempo sensitive. The feel shifts and changes at different speeds. A medium swing and a burning up tempo are like completely different things. Like so.
Not quite my tempo.
Speaking of which, I've often heard that at higher tempos, you stop swinging and the feel becomes straight or straightens out. No. You want to tell me that this or this aren't swinging? That bird or train aren't swinging? Okay, sorry, I don't really know where this aggression is coming from. Just give me a sec. Hold up. Yeah. Okay, my bad. Haven't had tea in a while, and I'm Australian, so it's very important. Anyway, moving on. Articulation. This one is cited reasonably often. Well done, everyone. So yes, the way notes are attacked and released is a huge contributing factor for swing. For example, enough said, really. Repertoire. One does not simply swing into Mordor. One does not simply swing on a song that wasn't built to swing. Like, you're not going to be swinging over a Taylor Swift tune. No shade, by the way. I love early country Taylor. Like, Speak Now is fire. I also like 1989. But yeah, simply put, if it's not designed to swing, it can't. So it can't. Like, why do you think there's such a huge, big phenomenon of jazzers reharming the fuck out of pop tunes? It's so we can do the jazz over it. I've covered the main elements that create the conditions required for swing. Now, let's get to how you're going to do it yourself and why you haven't been able to swing yet. So this is where I offer you, the viewer, and my past self some empathy. The reason why you've been struggling to swing isn't down to a lack of talent or feel. It's not because you aren't one of the chosen ones. It's because you've been trying to understand an extremely complex type of performance, with techniques and pedagogy that can feel divorced from the desired outcome. All the while you're being asked to measure yourself against recordings made by people who spent decades in the very ecosystems that produced and defined the thing you've been trying to emulate before they even made an album. Yeah, it's not a fair fight. And no, it's not our fault. What you need is what I eventually figured out. You need an understanding of the swing ecosystem. That's what this video is for. And a reliable method for actually feeling and reproducing any swing feel. I spent almost my entire 4-year degree feeling totally like I was making jazz-sounding noises, rather than really, truly playing and feeling it. Despite all the hard work I had done with my transcriptions and hundreds of hours of practice, following the classic advice, I still got the same feedback. Performance feels stiff, or shows that Kieran is not yet comfortable with the swing feel. And I recorded myself religiously, by the way, and I and my peers agreed with the assessment. I had real troubles with my swing. But all that changed in the second last semester of my final year. A collection of experiences and lessons and an eye-opening way of using a metronome all coalesced into what I've dubbed the pocket method. I promise you that after you try the pocket method, you'll be able to confidently analyze and reproduce any time feel, regardless of your instrument or your chosen genre. I'll be blunt, this is a hook and tease. Yes, you're gonna have to wait till video 2 for the full explanation. I want those succulent views and subs.
A succulent Chinese meal.
So, press all the buttons and click the things and all that shit. Modernity, am I right? It might seem obvious, but the world we're all living in isn't the world that the pioneers of this music lived in. And it won't ever be again. Like, everything is different. Yeah, there might not be a jam session every night in your town, and there certainly aren't as many ways to make a living or collect income from our art. What with the state of music streaming, fractions of cents on a dollar, next to zero physical sales, and don't even get me started about generative AI. But that doesn't mean that we aren't a part of their world either. Because that culture not only lives on, but it is thriving right now through all the incredible players today that keep the spirit of that music alive. And I feel, though in no small part to what I've talked about today, that I too am a part of this culture. That I can share in the collective joy of this music. And I'm not saying before that when I couldn't really swing and hang, that I wasn't a part of it. I totally was. Ability doesn't equal participation, no matter what anyone says. But the truth is that I really, really wanted to feel like I could contribute to the music in a way that I could be proud of. If there's any advice here, learn from my mistakes. Be kinder to yourself. Comparison should be for the sole purpose of learning and growth, not to beat down on yourself or you find yet more evidence that you just don't get it. Learning is a journey, and I hope that I can help you on your way there. So, I want to hear from you. What have you been told about swing that never really made much sense? Did something that I talk about today really resonate with you? Like, don't hold back. Like, let it be known in the comments. Like, let's have a chat. Let's discuss. Mostly, look, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. It really means the world to me. These videos take time and I'm figuring it out still, but I think I'm getting there. My name is Kieran Burden. Go slowly and gently and have a gorgeous day.